Ever since Slay the Spire, it seems like everyone and their grandmother is trying to jump on the card game hype train. Someone I would never have expected to grow this list of card game creators is Image and Form, the team behind SteamWorld Dig. However, as shown in the past, this team is not afraid to take a step up out of their comfort zone and change up the genre and gameplay their creations offer. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about the recently released Switch title, SteamWorld Quest: Hand of Gilgamech. This is the 5th title in the SteamWorld realm, and shakes up everything with its card-based RPG mechanics. But was this the right step to take, and how did the game actually turn out? Let's take a look. Before we answer the question, let's dive into what this game is all about. SteamWorld Quest takes place in a time long ago, a time of dragons, knights, and wizards, oh my. You start off as a ragtag bunch of unlikely heroes on a simple quest to find a magic mushroom, only to come back and find your whole town has been destroyed. The Guild of Heroes have been defeated by an evil dark army known as the Void, and you must team up together to stop them. Seems pretty generic at first, but the story does actually take quite a twist later down the road that, although not entirely impossible to guess, kept things interesting. The characters also make up for this, as the banter between them has the same witty humor that is to be expected in a SteamWorld title. You also quickly find yourself getting connected with them, as they do go through a few traumatic experiences that might even have you comparing some of the characters to yourself and how you view your mistakes. Regardless if you do have similar experiences, many of these characters are all very likable, from the always courageous but impulsive warrior to the quick-witted and often sarcastic alchemist. Where this game really shines is in its core mechanic, the card-based battles. Each character you will have brings 8 cards to battle, combining a total deck size of 24 once you have 3 characters available to play with. Each turn, you'll draw a number of cards and then play a total of 3 for your turn. Where this gets interesting is that each time you play 3 cards from the same character in a turn, you'll be awarded an extra bonus attack or skill based on their weapon. Combine that with other cards that require you to play multiple characters in a turn for bonus effects, and you have a unique system where you must decide if the bonus effect is worth perhaps shuffling out a powerful card or denying a bonus effect from playing multiple characters on your turn. For example, the Alchemist class provides a unique skill that when 3 of her cards are played simultaneously in a turn, all party members will receive a temporary shield. However, your Healer class has a card that does extra damage if you play an Alchemist card before their card. Now you must decide what benefits you more, doing that extra damage and playing a card from each class, or playing only cards from the Alchemist character so you can obtain a shield. Layer this on with the fact that you don't always have the cards you need, and only have a limited number of shuffling out cards each turn, will result in you having to think on your feet if you don't get that perfect combo. Throughout your adventure, you pick up a number of cards for each character that will have various effects, such as damage, heal, shields, and status effects. But once again, keep in mind you only have 8 per character. This means that building your deck can be very streamlined because it's quick and easy enough to assign and remove cards. Cards you obtain are also spread out evenly throughout the game in treasure chests, shops, and story events that occur, a thing I really enjoyed. It made the story feel more engaging, and the consistent addition of cards gave you a good reason to try and switch up your combat strategy every so often. The game in many ways is welcoming to those who might not be a veteran to card-based battles or RPG games, but at the same time it's not watered down in a way that makes it undesirable. The game's aforementioned card selection, straightforward accessories, weapon choices, and selection of characters streamlines the game, but at the same time the number of cards and the different combos that each character can pair with make it for an enjoyable run for those who are looking to continuously work at finding the best one. The game revolves around fighting those card battles, but when you are not fighting, you'll either be in a cutscene or exploring the level itself. The game has a similar style to that of Paper Mario. You run through a 3D plane as a 2D character, and have the ability to strike enemies before they see you to start battles with an advantage. This mechanic attempts to give the game breaks in between each battle by having you explore the map, searching for hidden rooms, treasure, and solving various puzzles. Although it served a purpose to pace the fights, I feel like this portion of the game fell a little flat. Many of the puzzles felt very similar, and most of the hidden aspects were just chests or rooms hidden behind things due to the 2D perspective of the game. The world, however, does look great. The hand-drawn environment all have a very pleasing atmosphere and immerse you into this medieval world. The creatures fit well with the theme, ranging from robot goblins to slime monsters to even a unicycle robot with a birdcage for a head. Always silly, but at the same time fitting for the environment built in any SteamWorld game. However, as you get further into the game, many of the assets can look very similar. A number of enemies will be recycled for one of the same variety, but simply with a color change, which makes sense with the elements available, but ultimately leading into cases where it can feel a bit repetitive. When jumping into this game, just about everything is bursting into the seams with charm and wonder. But as mentioned before, the only problem is that it can wear a bit thin later into the game. I did, however, think that the end of the game brought it home with the final bosses and later encounters. I would have hoped for more unique fights and story beats throughout to keep it a little bit more engaging. It also might have been stronger with shorter levels to keep a better pace of story and battle, specifically for those end levels. The later stages, there were times where I felt like the level would have gone on forever. This was probably due to the fact that battles could sometimes take a large number of turns, especially if there were 4 or more monsters on the screen that you were facing at a time. You put 10 or more of these encounters in a level, and after a while it could be taxing to make it through without a nice palate cleanser of some witty banter between the characters. Some other ways that they could have dealt with this is to push you to experiment more with the characters, cards, and adding various effects to the style you must play. A great example of this would be the arena that they include later in the game, where you would be pitted against 5 waves of enemies to compete for various prizes. Each tournament would also have various perks, such as only allowing you to use a certain amount of resources during that battle. This results in certain cards being useless, and forcing you to change your strategy. I love doing these challenges, but wish they would have been more accessible early in the game. These various modifiers could have also been added to the main storyline for certain bosses or areas to help spice up the combat and also push people to try new combos. Overall, this game was a blast. I don't feel like the few critiques I brought up detract from the game enough to dissuade anyone from giving this title a try. The 17 hours I spent playing the game were enjoyable and flew by quickly. I hope to see a sequel to this game or some of these RPG elements incorporated in the next installment to their SteamWorld series. To come back to the initial question asked in this video, yes, I do think that this was the right step for them. This might not be the game many were expecting, but it was a great addition to the series. We're giving SteamWorld Quest an 8.5 out of 10.